What's going on, guys? WhiteFox1225 here. Today we're going to be talking about Shards Online. This is actually the first non-Elder Scrolls video I've done since Elder Scrolls Online came out. But a lot of new info is coming out with E3 coming up, so Shards Online is a really video I wanted to do because it looks like a really awesome MMO. I'll also have some videos on things like Far Cry 3 coming up, my first impressions of Wolfenstein, and things like that. But let's talk about Shards Online right now. So Shards Online is this new MMO coming from Citadel Studios. Now, Citadel has a lot of people from the Elder Scrolls series, Ultima Online, which is so awesome because that is just supposed to be one of the best MMOs ever made. Dark Age of Camelot, Warhammer Online. Now, these are some really seasoned people coming from really a bunch of different types of games, so it's really going to be interesting to see what they make. Right now the game is in pre-alpha. You can invest in their Kickstarter, and that's how they're raising money for the game, and I'll have a link below to that. So first, let's talk about why I'm really excited for this game, which is about kind of the world and how the world is set up. So the world kind of looks like a lot like Ultima Online, where there's a lot of freedom. You can really change the world. So first off, there are different shards, and basically these are different worlds. Different shards will have different things, different rules, different play styles. One shard might be all fantasy, and one might be like steampunk. These shards are going to be completely different. Even though I do believe they take place in the whole world, they're going to have different crafting styles. Like fantasy shards will craft like armor, swords, things like that, and then a steampunk one might, craft bombs. So they haven't really gone into it, but there's definitely some, really a lot of room to play around with the kind of style you want your shard to be. Other than that, there's different, play styles. Like I'm sure there'll be a role-playing shard. I'm sure there will be just pure MMO fan shards who really want to grind XP and things like that. So really, it just caters to anyone, and really it's cool because it's not like Elder Scrolls Online where it's one mega server. Really there's a lot of changeability in how the game is made, so you don't really have to play it the way the developers want you to, which player freedom is always great, and that's kind of what this game goes for. Now, gods and players alike both have a lot of control over the world. So, for example, gods can move things around in the world. If there's a carriage over here, they can move it to a completely different spot. They can even place new items down. And other than that, there's a lot of things the players can do. Now, the players really kind of live in a living world. There's housing, and when you put your house down, it's not an instance thing. Everyone can see the house. The house is there for everyone, which is really cool because you're really making an impact on the world. And then your house is where you store things, so player housing definitely really cool, and it's kind of where you are. You can set up a community, and it's not instance, like I said, you're really making an impact on the world. And, there's a lot more where that came from. You can employ NPCs to do things, and again, that's not instance. Those NPCs are, doing things for you, but everyone can see that. You can tame animals and creatures in the world, it's just things like that. Bears are going to be chasing after deer in the woods, but you can tame them and make them your own. Again, a lot like Ultima Online. So you have a lot of freedom in the world. Also, things you do in the world matter. For example, they give the example, if you steal an egg from a dragon, it might be the reason she's attacking this town tomorrow and you have to save the town. Or maybe if you give a beggar some gold, it'll make the difference between him starving to death or him having, the money to resume his criminal past. Things that really make a difference in the world. Things that I kind of wish Elder Scrolls Online had done. Not that I don't love that MMO. This is really, giving the player a lot of freedom and a lot of, abilities to do different role-playing and really make an impact on the world, which is really cool. So your actions in the world are definitely going to matter. In Elder Scrolls Online, you definitely have choices, but your choices, they don't affect other players. They barely even affect you because they usually come at the end of the quest, which I really like how you get to make choices in ESO. It helps role-playing, helps define your character. But this just being able to impact the world is something that is really right out of the Elder Scrolls, and it's really a staple of the Elder Scrolls Online series, the Elder Scrolls series. And you can definitely tell that the devs from that worked on this. So let's talk about the gameplay. So the gameplay is a little different. There are no levels and no classes, which is kind of like crazy for an MMO. No classes we've seen before, but no levels. That's really intense. So when you get in the game, you're gonna have the same, possibility of being just as good as someone who's played for 500 hours. Obviously, though, the skill is there, and a lot of the gameplay is based on skill, which they have mentioned. And so, an MMO based on skill is always welcomed in the MMO community. So I'm really excited to see more of the gameplay. Skills and abilities, those are really what's going to define your character, not the class. So you're going to be able to learn new skills in the world, get new abilities, and basically how you use them and how you slot them is going to define your character. So really a lot of freedom with how you build your character. And obviously the combat is a little different. It's top down, just like Ultima Online. So it's not going to be the same as like Elder Scrolls Online or anything like that. But it will be, pretty cool, I think. And I don't think the combat is the biggest part of the game, but it definitely looks pretty solid, and we'll have to wait to see more, but really skill based. Another thing is that there isn't a huge emphasis on the story in the game. There is a main story, but definitely what's really the main focus is your exploration of the world and making your own adventure. There is lots of PvE, but there also is going to be a hardcore PvE battle royale. That's all they've mentioned so far, but PvP and PvE will be in the game. And really the game just seems kind of based on exploration, going around the world and having an adventure, even if it's not scripted, finding a monster in the world to slay, talking to NPCs. That's really kind of what an RPG should be. And, not being on rails is definitely something I'm excited for. So Ultima Online, Shards Online, is definitely looking awesome. I hope you guys are excited for it too. Just quickly, I want to talk about pricing. So the game is gonna be less than $30, they've said, and it's also gonna be an optional subscription fee. They said premium subscription fee. So I'm sure a lot of people will be happy they don't have to pay this subscription fee, and also it's pretty cheap. So really good pricing. I think a lot of people will be excited for this game. I know I am. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, and I'm thinking about, maybe covering this game more and more, maybe even making like a podcast to switch on and off with the Elder Scrolls Online Saturday. Tell me what you guys think of that. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but that's just an idea, and like I said, a lot more content coming, Elder Scrolls. I'm hoping that I'm going to get my full review up next week. It's taking a lot of time to do. And then we'll also be doing, Wolfenstein First Impressions, a lot of stuff on Far Cry 4, and, just a lot of videos. E3's coming up. I'm super excited. We'll be covering that. So a lot of cool stuff coming. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe if you're interested. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.